Alright, picture this. You're at the top of your game. Division 1 starting quarterback. Bright lights, cheering crowds, the whole 9 yards. Life's a highlight reel. Now, fast forward a few years. The only bright light you see is from a flashbang grenade going off next to your head. And the only cheering is a SWAT team screaming at you to get on the ground. That, my friends, is the story of Damon West. A man who went from slinging footballs to orchestrating a burglary ring to fuel a meth habit so aggressive it probably had its own LinkedIn profile. And his reward for this career change? A 65-year prison sentence. In prison slang, that's 6 dimes and a nickel. It's basically the universe's way of saying you're on a timeout until you're dead. But here's the crazy part. That sentence, the one meant to end his life as he knew it, was the very thing that saved it. Today, we're diving into his book, 6 dimes and a nickel. A story about how you can hit rock bottom so hard you bounce back into orbit. So, how did our golden boy quarterback become the uptown burglar of Dallas? Well, a teacher once told him he was a natural leader, but that he could lead people to good or to, well, the other thing. For a while, it was good. Then, meth entered the chat. Suddenly, he was leading a crew of fellow addicts on a grand tour of Dallas's nicest homes, taking anything that wasn't nailed down. His downfall came just how you'd expect. A partner gets pinched, loyalty becomes a limited-time offer, and before he knows it, he's having a very rude awakening courtesy of law enforcement. As he's sitting in a jail cell, the meth wearing off, he's not thinking about lawyers or his future. He's thinking, how am I going to get my next fix? But then a weird feeling kicked in. Faith. He realized he'd been praying for his chaotic life to end, and the universe answered with a door-kicking, flash-banging delivery service. His angels didn't have halos. They had riot gear and a no-knock warrant. This is what Damon calls a SWAT raid of the soul. Most of us don't get the literal version, but we all get them. The sudden job loss, the brutal breakup, the text message that just says, "We need to talk." These moments feel like the end, but Damon argues they're actually a doorway, an opportunity to reboot your entire operating system. So, he gets shipped off to a maximum security prison, a place where the primary currency is violence and respect. He's terrified, bruised, and on the verge of breaking. Then he meets his first prison mentor, an older Muslim man named Muhammad. Seeing Damon about to have a full-on breakdown, Muhammad gives him some advice that will change his life. He tells him about the boiling water. He says, "Look, life is a pot of boiling water. You can be one of 3 things. You can be a carrot. You go in hard and come out soft and mushy. The world breaks you. Or you can be an egg. You go in soft and come out hard. You get a tough shell, but you're bitter and closed off on the inside. Or, and this is the kicker, you can be a coffee bean. Think about it. The coffee bean doesn't get changed by the hot water. It changes the water. It transforms its entire negative environment into something new, something better." Muhammad told him, "Be a coffee bean." And that became his mission. In a place designed to crush you, he decided he was going to change the flavor of the room. He started tutoring other inmates, helping them get their GEDs. He used sports to break down racial barriers on the basketball court, taking elbows to the face day after day until he earned respect. He was turning prison from a punishment into a very, very mandatory self-improvement seminar. He realized you can create the energy you want to live in, even if your address is cell block D. After 7 long years, Damon gets the shock of his life. He's granted parole. Now hope is great, but as Damon says, hope is not a plan. He had a plan. While inside, he'd gotten so good at writing his own legal appeals that he caught the eye of a legendary lawyer, Walter Humphrey. Humphrey was so impressed he told him, "If you ever get out, you have a job." 2 days after walking free, Damon was in his office, and the man hired him as a paralegal. From inmate to paralegal in 48 hours. That's a glow-up. This job gave him a paycheck, but more importantly, it gave him a platform. He started sharing his story. He used his vacation days to speak at schools and churches, telling anyone who would listen about the coffee bean. Then came his big shot. A friend gets him a pass to an awards dinner with 8 of the top college football coaches in the country. He goes there with one goal: land a speaking gig. He walks up to the first coach, nope. The second, hard pass. 7 coaches in a row turn him down. He's been ghosted more times in one night than a Hinge profile with a fish picture. But there's one coach left, Clemson's Dabo Swinney. He walks up, gives his 30-second pitch with all the passion he has. Dabo listens, takes his card, and walks away. Damon figures it's rejection number 8. Months later, he gets an email. Dabo Swinney wants him to speak to the Clemson football team. The talk is a massive success. Players are lining up to thank him. Dabo is so moved he films an endorsement video on the spot and starts calling every coach he knows. Why? Because Damon stayed in the room and took the shot. As he says, if you don't ask, the answer is always no. Speaking of asking, if you're finding this story is changing your environment for the better, maybe you could change this channel's environment. Don't be a carrot and go soft on us. Don't be an egg and get all hard-hearted. Be a coffee bean and hit that subscribe button. It's your chance to avoid a life sentence of boring content. We'd appreciate it. Okay, back to the grind. Damon's life started taking off. He met and married his wife, Kendall. His speaking career exploded, leading to best-selling books. He was finally living the lesson his AA sponsor, Ray, had taught him. Control the controllables. You can't control what other people think or what life throws at you. You can only control what you think, say, and do. For everything else, let it go. Give it back to God or the universe or whatever you believe in. Stop trying to clean up someone else's side of the street. Damon West's story is proof that your past doesn't have to be your prison. He went from a 65-year sentence to a lifetime of impact. He proves that no matter how dark it gets, you always have a choice. You can let the boiling water of life make you weak or bitter. Or you can be the coffee bean and change the whole damn pot. Thanks for watching.